Welcome to Voice Bootcamp, a global name in unified communication. Hello, my name is Faisal Khan, CEO and founder of voicebootcamp.com. In this lab, I'm going to show you how to prepare and install Microsoft SQL Server 64-bit. Now, SQL Server installation is pretty straightforward. So once you put the CD in and you just click on the setup link or whatnot, you'll see a screen that with the following screenshot. So you can click on to test any sort of like a operation setup support file check, any sort of supplementary file that you might need, and then it will tell you if there is any issues with the server setup or configuration, such as a warning and whatnot. This is an example and warning telling you that the computer where you're trying to install happens to be a domain controller. It is important that SQL Server is installed on every single server that is going to have Microsoft UCCE component. Anyway, so when you go to the section called installation type, you're going to select new installation, and then of course define your keys, product keys, and it's going to ask you what sort of features you'd like to install. So you can just simply select SQL Server feature installation. You can say all feature with default or whatnot. So these are some of the features you can select. Obviously for the lab purposes we can choose all of them, doesn't matter. Now here is very important, you should keep the default instance as a Microsoft MS SQL Server. If you choose to use a different name, sometimes the UCCE installation failed to detect that name. So it is important that you use the default one to go through the smooth installation. Now if remember, this SQL Server that you are installing is only going to be dedicated for the UCCE. You're not going to run any sort of a separate application database on that. Now at some point when you go to through the installation, one of the most important part is this one, server configuration. There obviously you're going to select the username and password for all these services. You can use the system account or domain account, totally up to you. See the circle area called collocation. You have to click on that tab and then select Latin1_general and binary. It is extremely important that these two items are configured exactly like this. If you fail to do that, you're going to have to reinstall SQL Server from scratch, because there is no way to go back and change it. So it is extremely important that you pay attention to this area where you are required to configure the collocation.